How's it going, everybody? oh, oh, thank you, Jersey. Appreciate that. All right, so how's everybody doing tonight? I'll be honest, I am beat, but show must go on, right? So, for any of y'all that have been here for many of the live streams I've done, I've had issues with my amp. So it's the pot emitters in my power amp. Uh, they're an issue. This amp's old, and just needs a little maintenance, I guess. Well, that's what I'm hoping they're going to be. So anyhow, I just thought this would be something good. Show you guys, show you how to take it apart, how to clean it, like, what stuff you need, all that kind of thing. So yeah, so let's because not being able to play through my Engel is kind of a bummer. I've got two of these. Oh, thing weighs a ton. So let me attempt here to. I need like a cameraman. Let's see. So now we go to. All right. So yeah. So this is the amp, and that's going to be like way too close. So let's see if we can find a better location than that. And that's not really going to work either. I didn't plan this ahead too well, did I? See if this will. All right, that's a little better, I guess. So yeah, this is well, I ain't working. The damn thing's just falling down. So let's just go back to the regular one. All right. So until I just wanted the second camera so I can get like really close up to show you stuff. So this is my power amp. This is an ADA solid state amplifier. For you guys that are old enough to remember the ADA MP1 preamp back in the 90s, it was like really popular. This was like the power amp that would run with them because it's stereo. So anyhow, I bought this used in probably about 91 or 92. And I used to have the ADA MP1 too, but I sold that. I kind of wished I'd have kept it now, but I kept this because this is a really good power amplifier. And then one came up for sale locally a few years ago, and someone actually picked it up for me for a gift. But yeah, so the problem is that the pots, the little knobs, they get dirty. So when you turn them, they're like really crackly, and it can get to be the point where the crackles are so freaking loud that it's like going to blow a speaker or something. And then you'll set it to a volume, and then the volume will fluctuate. And if you just like tap your finger on it, it'll start going. It's just, I'm hoping that it's just really dirty inside of there, and it's not that the pot emitters are actually bad, because I don't trust my ability to do that. But then again, I don't know. I don't think I've ever taken this apart, so this will be a first for me to see what it's like inside of there. I'm not too worried about it because it's old enough that it isn't going to have a bunch of, like microchips and that kind of shit in there. I don't think it will anyway. So anyhow, doing this where it's a rack, it isn't really a whole lot different than if you were doing it just like on a combo amplifier. Except with the combo amplifier, it's just more obvious how you disassemble it. But with this, what we want to do is we want to look for the easiest way to get into it. So like on a combo amp, so like on my old Gorilla here, on the top there you can see there's those black screws, 4 of them. So you'd remove those, and then this whole section right here would just slide out the back, and then the top of it's exposed, so you'd be able to see the stuff. This one needs to be done too, so just kind of seeing how this goes. Maybe we'll do this one too. Oh, but with this power amp, it's a little bit different. So what you want to do, and it's not like it's just going to be all of them are the same kind of a thing. They're going to, you know, different manufacturers are going to kind of assemble them in a different way. So what you want to do on something like this, where this is an all metal case, is that you want to look for, I mean, there's screws all over it. So let me switch to that other. All right, so here's like the top of it, or yeah, this is the top of it, and there's all these screws here, and then we come around to the back, and there's screws all along there. There's screws on the sides. There's screws everywhere on this thing. There's screws on the bottom. But what we want to do is we want to look for we want to look to see kind of how the thing is assembled. So, man, thing weighs a ton. So here on the top, you can see here there's a space between here along that where the rack ear is. Well, that's because that rack ear, they just unbolt. So if we look at the actual case across the top here, this is one piece of metal that just bent at a 90-degree angle. And then we come around to the back side, and it's the same thing. It's one piece of metal. So if we take all of these screws out here, we're going to probably have some serious issues, because those are probably the screws is what's holding like all the guts together. So if I turn it over and look on the bottom side, I can see here, hope you can see this good, there's a seam right here, and it runs all the way along the front, all the way along this side, all the way around the back, all the way around. So this is going to be the easiest way to get in, because it's going to we're just going to be able to unscrew it, and it should just come off. Oh crap, I'm missing stuff going on here. Oh, hello Crit. Oh, hello, Freedom. Oh, you just did yours? You just cleaned your pots? All right, so yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here onto the back, and this is really difficult. I apologize for this, but I mean, I don't know how else to do this, but there's a screw right here, so I'm going to take that one out. Well, you don't need to watch me turn a screwdriver. So anyhow, there's 4 screws here on the back that I need to take off. All right, so man, I could pick the worst screwdriver I think I could find. Oh, thanks, Crit. It's bad hair day, so I have to wear a hat. Okay, one of these screws doesn't want to come out. Man. There we go. I was just going to say that a smart person probably would have already taken this apart to make sure there wasn't going to be any issues, but you're getting to see like legit as it happens. All right, so I got So I got all those screws out. So now this panel is just going to lift off. So I'm just going to try to get this. So it just lifts off. This is just a cover. All right. So it has a circuit board, but it doesn't look like a modern one really. Anyway, the pot emitters are right here. There's the knobs, and so here's the back side of it inside here. The only thing is there's a little circuit board right on the top of it that's kind of blocking, but I can still get into where I need to get in. All right, so for those of you who don't know, when you this is a pot emitter. So this is like here on the end of it here, this is like where the knob, the cosmetic knob would go on. And then here on the back's where, the wire connections are. So this is one like out of a guitar. It's similar to what's in here. I don't know how many ohms these ones are, so I don't know. I'm just going to try cleaning them. So anyhow, what you're going to want to do is that like the view, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to give it a shot. All right, so that green thing, there's the circuit board, and then there's the pot emitters right there. So you can see right there, little silver space that, flat looking, that's like, square, looks like it's got a little hole in the center of it, and it's like right between the circuit board and that pot emitter. Yeah, I don't want to change these pots. They look like they're soldered onto that little board. Maybe it all comes as a unit. But anyway, what we're going to do is, see that little gap right there? So when we were looking at it, we were seeing it about like this. You can see there's the little silver thing. There's a little space right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, let me switch back to the other camera. We're going to take some electronics cleaner. So this stuff, actually, I don't even know where this can came from, because I used to buy it at Radio Shack, and then the Radio Shack that was around here is gone. And a friend of mine just brought this to me, so I have no idea where he got it from. Maybe they sell it at Guitar Center. I've never looked. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get that little nozzle down in there into that little groove, and then we're going to spray this crap all over on the inside of it. And so what it is going to do is it's going to dissolve all the, there's like a little bit of like grease in there, dielectric grease, and it's just collected, lint and dust and everything over the years. So we're going to clean it out with this stuff, hopefully. So couple of precautions that I really hope I don't have to tell anybody this, but I'm going to say it anyway, is that unplug the amp before you do this. Don't do this, don't spray liquid into something that's plugged into an electrical outlet. But I mean, you can do anything once, right? Hello, Brian. And Jersey, why did you almost fall off your stool? Is that just a public service announcement? Oh, okay, I missed a bunch of the text, but yeah. So you don't want it to be plugged in, obviously. And then when you spray this stuff, it's going to come out as a liquid, so it's going to run out of there and it's going to go everywhere. It will stain stuff. So what I do is I have a dedicated rag here that is just for dirty crap like this. Anyway, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to this while I hold this other camera at the same time. This is ridiculous. All right. Oh, maybe I can just do this. Maybe I can just set it inside of here. Ooh, might work. Let me... Oh, there we go. All right. I'm going to try to do this so you can see the best that I can, but it's a pretty cramped space. All right, if the camera would focus, thank you. All right, so you can see that little space. It's right. Oh my gosh, this is so weird doing this with the camera. But it's right there, that little space. So this nozzle's not going to actually fit inside of it. It's just gonna, it's gonna be able to spray it, but it's going to, a lot of it's just gonna spray back, like what Freedom said. Yeah, Freedom, it does. It evaporates, but I've had some. I've got like a couple of pairs of pants that are like destroyed from this stuff. All right, so shaking it up. I'm putting the nozzle in there. I should have brought a flashlight because, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to switch my glasses. Hold on. All right, this is much better than my up close glasses. All right, so now I'm going to come around and I'm going to spray. You can see it come out of there. I really filled it up good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto the other side and I'm just going to turn the knob back and forth. Now when you do this, when you first start doing it, all of a sudden the knob is going to have less resistance in it than it did. That's totally normal because that grease isn't taking up, isn't dragging. All right, I'm going to put a little more because these are pretty bad. Try to sop up some of this that leaked out too. All right. All right, I'm going to do one more just for good measure because this is kind of a pain in the butt just to get this thing in and out for me. Yeah, it's starting to get looser. It must have really been dirty, but I mean, it's probably never been cleaned. I mean, I guess it's possible that I cleaned it, but it would have been, it's so damn long ago that I just don't remember. Could have been last Thursday and I still wouldn't remember, but I'm pretty sure that I haven't. All right, now when I compare that to there's a huge difference. So we did something. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the other one, but I can't really get the camera in there to show you on this side. There just isn't enough room. So you're going to have to take my word for it that I did the same thing, and then you'll have to look at my ugly mug while I'm doing it too. All right, so I'm spraying in here. I really hope that this works because this just doesn't look like it would be. It doesn't look like it would be an easy fix, at least not for me. Maybe for someone who's got better skills with this kind of thing. Oh, there we go. It is possible too. I haven't seen one of these for I don't know, a really, really long time. But I cleaned a pot on a guitar, you know, on an electric guitar a long time ago. I mean, like high school or before. And I actually had to drill a hole in the back side of the pot. So on the back part here, like where, you know, they solder on like the grounds, I actually had to drill a little hole into it because there was no way it was completely sealed and you couldn't get to it. No, that wasn't a guitar. That was in a wah pedal. I think it was a Dunlop one, but I can't remember. But that was the only way you could get in there to do it, was I had to drill a little hole in it. All right, so this is all. Oh my gosh, I really made a mess in here. All right, so that part, that's all cleaned now, I believe. And I'm going to put the plate back on it. And all right, well, I put it back on the right way the first time. That's crazy for me. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this on, and then we can try hooking it up. I hope you are correct, Freedom. I really do, because I want this to. I mean, like I said, I have another one, and I don't remember if it's got any issues or not. I got it a few years ago, but I put it in. I have a Fender amp that needed a power amp, so I put it in that. But I haven't played through it for years, so I don't remember if it works. I know that it was in better shape than this one was. It was a studio amp. It was just in this guy's studio, so it never like got gigged and, you know, beat up and hauled around like this one has. Because I've used this amp like in every in just about every live rig that I've had for, you know, since the, you know, the early 90s. This it's played some sort of a role in it. All right. So I'm gonna I want that to dry, be totally dry. So anyhow, here, I'm just going to take this just so you know how to take it apart, so that way if you want to fix yours. So this is just how it works on pretty much, I mean, maybe the brand new, you know, all the new fancy ones, they might be different because I haven't messed around with any of those. But if you get anything like a, you know, an old Fender, a Marshall, a Gorilla, a Yamaha, just like any, you know, amp, they're pretty much going to be all going to be pretty similar. So you've got these screws here on the top that are here, not the ones for these corner things, but it's just these four. There'll be screws with a washer underneath them. I just noticed that this one doesn't have a washer under it. Must have gotten lost sometime. Anyway, when you take these out, you'll notice they're not like it's not like a grabber screw. It's like a machine screw. So this is actually going into a threaded hole. So that's one way you can tell when you take them out. Although I've seen people lose the screw and then seriously put like a grabber screw, or, you know, like a drywall screw or something in. Look, I'm pretty sure that I probably have a washer for that somewhere. Okay, so after you have those out, then this whole amp part just pushes from the front. And so now here's the inside of that. So the pot emitters in this are back here. So this only comes so far because of the speaker wires. So I'm going to disconnect those. Anyhow, they're just with a, a spade. Get the cable out. So now I can just put the amp thing and the box. So now here we have the actual gut. So like I said, the top of it is just open like this. I've never taken one apart that had any kind of a cover. If it does, it's just going to be like how that power amp was. See how this is, one piece of metal, just rolled like a taco shell like the other one was. And then this one doesn't have a cover because it's in the amp case is the cover. So these ones would be a little bit trickier to be able to get that stuff into. So I'm going to switch to the other camera so I can show you this. He cut the ground pin off of the plug. All right, so on this one, here's the pot emitters, but you can see that the little spade parts where the wires go on, if this camera will focus, yeah, they're on the bottom. So that's where that opening is. So it really isn't any really easy way that I can get in there to do that. I could undo. I guess I can undo these screws on the bottom and take that whole circuit board out, but I don't want to do that right now. So yeah, but at least now you know how to get this part of it out. Yeah, I just worry about trying to take all that stuff apart and then end up disturbing, breaking solder joints or things like that. I mean, that's things that could happen. So just not really sure how I would get in there to do them on this without really, having some issue. I'm really kind of surprised that it's like this, to be honest. I just didn't expect, because this thing's really old. This amp's like somewhere in the really early 80s that this was made. I don't know if it has any kind of a date on it anywhere or something. Got half of a serial number. But I got this was my first amp, so it has to be, somewhere in the early 80s. Alright, so now, to put it back in, you just do it in reverse. You start it in from the back, push it out through the front. When you look on the front side and it looks right, then you can try to take one of these bolts and just get it started. Don't screw them all in. Just try to get one lined up so it's going into, so it's catching the threads. All right, I got one started. Now I'm going to get one on the kitty corner started, so that way we can make sure that it's sitting in there in the right spot. Boy, this is really being a there we go. Kind of being a pain. here I want to try to find a washer for. Let me just snug these up just a little bit, and then we can plug the oh, for hell's sakes. Yeah, that's weird that somebody would cut that off on purpose. Well, I know, actually, I guess if they had like a house with old wiring, but you know, just get one of those little adapter things. Yeah, I know if I looked around, I'd find one. Oh, man. All right, so that's back together. So now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to put the power amp back into my rack, but I'm not going to take all the time to like bolt it all in. I just want to get it in enough so we can see if we did any good or not. All right. I'd have to take the whole thing apart to be able to get it in the power supply in the right place. So I've kind of just got it in a temporary spot for right now, but it should be okay. Okay, it is back. It is plugged in, hooked back up. So we will try channel 1 or channel A. Well, so far it's working, and it isn't making any noise at all. Channel 1, it fixed it. Alright, so now turn the power amp off and clear the power out of it. See, that amp has been off this whole time. That's just the residual power in there. So if you guys are using tube amps, I would really recommend that you do that. Like when you shut it off, just keep playing for a minute with it plugged in until it uses all that power, so that way it doesn't pop. Like, that's not good when that happens. All right, I'm gonna try channel B. So let me switch the cable. All right, switched over to channel B. Yep, it's working too. All right, awesome. All right. So it fixed it. It fixed it. So honestly, I'm a little surprised because it's just it's so old and it's had a lot of use, but it's worth the chance. I mean, what did it take me? A few minutes to do it, and then just find you some of this crap. This one's called Deoxit, but it's just basically anything that says that that it will clean electrical connections, and it I don't know. I mean, the stuff works good. I've only had a handful of times where it didn't fix whatever it was I was trying to do. More guitars more so than amplifiers. A few amplifiers. A PA head I repaired for somebody that's all it needed is to be cleaned. But my Fender M80, I need to do it. But I need to take it apart. I took it apart once, and I remember that the pod emitters, the rods on them are like this long. Like, so I'm kind of afraid to get in there and screw around with it because I don't want to mess anything up. I don't know enough about that kind of stuff with electronics to know if those are even parts that are available or not. But yeah, so yeah, that was basically what I wanted to show you. You guys liked the ones before we did, some guitar surgery and stuff. So I thought maybe the fixing the amp would be something you'd like too. So yeah, so I appreciate everybody who came out and stuff. Does anybody have any questions or anything today? Oh, that's great, Crit. It's always good to learn something new. Yeah, and obviously there's no tabs or anything for this, but you can download like a pretty cool, useful free chord chart from Guitar Control. There's a link in the description where you can get that. Really handy because it has every like all the really common, like most chords you'd ever want to use, but not just the like E minor and A and stuff, but like seventh chords, extended voice chords and stuff, and it's all put onto one page, so you can download it and print it off, and then just put copies, one of your guitar case, one where you have band practice, or one where you rehearse, you just practice, in the living room, wherever, so that way you just have it all the time. Yeah, I'm happy it worked for me too. Like I said, I was a little hesitant as to whether or not if it was gonna work or not. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming out and stuff. Maybe this wasn't the most popular topic or whatever, but hey, I never know what the hell's gonna, what anybody's gonna like. I don't know more than anybody else. So yeah, appreciate everybody coming out, and I will be back on next Tuesday. Don't know what we're gonna do. Figure it out though. But anyway, yeah, I'd really just like to thank everybody for coming out. Really appreciate it, and I will catch you all next week. Have a great night and a great weekend, everybody.